Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. Srimad Bhagavatam Sangha and attentive japa later on. So we shall continue this very interesting pastime where Prajāpati Dakṣa is very angry with Nārada Muni for taking away his 10,000 sons and then his another 1,000 sons. And you can imagine a father or a parent's dilemma when things don't go to plan. You think they are my children. How does somebody else have the right to divert them from the plans that we made together? And he must have made a lot of plans for them, and it was all wasted from his point of view, anyway. And plus, he has a service given by the Lord to increase the progeny, and that is also there's an obstacle in that as well. So let's continue. So Nārada Muni came to tell him that I have also arranged you 1,000 sons. They're not coming home. They have become sannyasis. And then Prajāpati Dakṣa now says to Nārada Muni what he thinks. He says, my sons were not at all freed from the three debts. So now we're talking about three debts. This is the defense of Prajāpati. Another reason why he's angry, that indeed they did not properly consider their obligations. O Nārada Muni, O personality of sinful action, you have obstructed their progress toward good fortune in this world and the next, because they are still indebted to the saintly persons, the demigods, and their father. So according to Daksh, the scriptures mention three types of debts: to the sadhus, to the demigods, and their father. And he's saying unless these debts are paid, they cannot get liberation anywhere. So why are you advising them otherwise? So Srila Prabhupada explains that as soon as Brahman takes birth, he assumes three kinds of debts. Debts to great saints, debts to the demigods, and debts to his father. The son of a Brahman must undergo celibacy, brahmacharya, to clear his debts to the saintly persons. He must perform ritualistic ceremonies to clear his debts to the demigods, and he must beget children to become free from his debts to his father. So to pay your debts to your father, you must also become a father. Now, Prajāpati Dakṣa argued that although the renounce order is recommended for liberation, one cannot attain liberation unless one fulfills his obligation to the demigods, saints, and his father. So since Daksh's sons had not liberated themselves from these three debts, how could Nārada Muni have led them to the renounced order of life? So apparently Prajāpati Dakṣa did not know the final decision of the Shastras. So he only had limited knowledge of the Shastras. He didn't know what the final decision of the Shastra is. As mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dev Rishi Bhut Apt Nirnam Pitranam Nakim Karo Nayam Rini Ja Rajan Sarvatmana Ya Sharanam Sharyam Gato Mukandam Parihirita Kratam. So everyone is indeed indebted to the demigods, to living entities in general, to his family, to the pitas and so on. So there's no doubt about that. Yes, we are indebted to them. But if only one fully surrenders to Krishna, Mukanda means mukti, liberator, who can give one liberation. Even if one performs no yajnas, one is free from all debts. So by coming to Krishna consciousness, you are free from all debts to the forefathers, the demigods, to the saints. Even if one does not repay his debts, he is free from all debts if he renounces the material world for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose lotus feet are like the shelter of everyone. This is the verdict of Shastra. Therefore, Nārada Muni was completely right in instructing the sons of Prajāpati Dakṣa to renounce this material world immediately and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatahum Vande Shri Gurum Dim Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nashta Prashabdreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestikhi. So Prajāpati Dakṣa continues. Thus, committing violence against other living entities and yet claiming to be an associate of Lord Vishnu, you are defaming the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You needlessly created a mentality of renunciation in innocent boys, and therefore you are shameless and devoid of compassion. How could you travel with the personal associates of the Supreme Lord? So Dakshi is saying that you're not good enough to be associate of the Lord. You are a disgrace, basically. And how can you announce that you are an associate of the Lord himself? This mentality of Prajāpati Dakṣa still continues even today, Srila Prabhupada says. So Srila Prabhupada compares this to what he had to go through with the parents of the young men who followed him, and he made them into sannyasis, whereas the parents wanted them to have a wife, have children, so they could have grandchildren like that. So all the plans of their parents were destroyed as well. When young boys joined the Krishna consciousness movement, their fathers and so-called guardians are very angry at the propounder of the Krishna consciousness movement, because they think that their sons have been unnecessarily induced to deprive themselves of the material enjoyments of eating, drinking, and merrymaking. Karmis, fruity workers, think that one should fully enjoy his present life in this material world and also perform some pious activities to be promoted to the higher planetary systems for further enjoyment in the next life. So a yogi, however, especially a bhakti yogi, is callous to the opinions of this material world. He is not interested in traveling to the higher planetary systems of the demigods to enjoy a long life in an advanced materialistic civilization. So even Swarglok is considered a material planet, just a bit more opulent and a bit more advanced, but nevertheless materialistic. As stated by the Prabhupada Saraswati, Kevalam Narakayate Tridashapur Akash Pushpayate. For a devotee merging into Brahman, existence is hellish, and life in the higher planet systems of demigod is also a will-o'-the-wisp, a phantasmagoria with no real existence at all. A pure devotee is not interested in yogic perfection, travel to higher planet systems, or oneness with Brahman. These are minor things to what we are getting by associating with the Lord. He is interested only in rendering service to the personality of Godhead. Since Prajāpati Dakṣa was karmi, he could not appreciate the great service Nārada Muni had rendered his 11,000 sons. Instead, he accused Nārada of being sinful and charged that because Nārada Muni was associated with the Supreme Godhead, the Lord would also be defamed. Thus, Dakṣa criticized the that Nārada Muni was an offender to the Lord, although he was known as an associate of the Lord. So he's saying that you have let down the Supreme Personality Godhead, and you are offender. All the devotees of the Lord, but you are very kind to the conditioned souls and are eager to benefit others. Although you wear the dress of a devotee, you create enmity with people who are not your enemies, or you break friendship and create enmity between friends. Are you not ashamed of posing as a devotee while performing these abominable actions? And then Prajāpati Dakṣa continued, if you think that simply awakening the sense of renunciation will detach one from the material world, I must say that unless full knowledge is awakened, simply changing dresses as you have done cannot possibly bring detachment. So Prajāpati Dakṣa was correct in stating that changing one's dress cannot detach one from this material world. The sannyasis of Kali Yuga who change their robes from white to saffron and then think they can do whatever they like are more abominable than materialistic grihasthas, because they're pretenders, right? At least the grihasthas are not pretending, they are what they are. But it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. If somebody's pretending to be something they're not by wearing a different dress and fooling the people, then that is sinful, that is wrong. That's cheating, basically. This is not recommended anywhere. Prajāpati Dakṣa was right in pointing out this defect. But he did not know that Nārada Muni had aroused the spirit of renunciation in the Haryashvas and Savalashvas through full knowledge. So he thinks that Nārada Muni doesn't know what he's doing, that he's just a pretender, and he's a bit bewildered himself. He's under illusion, and he's also giving the same to other people. But he doesn't know that Nārada Muni is a very exalted devotee. Such enlightened renunciation is desirable. One should enter the renounced order with full knowledge, with Gyan Vairagya. For the perfection of life is possible for one who renounces this material world in that way. This elevated stage can be reached very easily, as quoted by the statements. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janyati Ashu Viragyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahevtikam. By rendering devotion service unto the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from this world. If one seriously engages in devotion service to the Lord Vasudeva, Gyan and Vairagya are automatically manifest in one's person. They are awakened from inside, from within. There is no doubt of this. Prajāpati Dakṣa's accusation that Narada had not actually elevated his sons to the platform of knowledge was not factual. All the sons of Prajāpati Dakṣa had first been raised to the platform of Gyan and then had automatically renounced this world. In summary, unless one's knowledge is awakened, renunciation cannot take place. For without elevated knowledge, one cannot give up attachment for material enjoyment. So we also find that as we are getting knowledge is being awakened inside us. This is the first symptom that we are elevating, we are advancing, is that material enjoyment in us reduces. We're not that much hankering now over material enjoyment as we probably did before we came to Krishna consciousness, because we know we have the higher taste, we know there is something higher, and we are more interested in achieving that. We are more interested in achieving the diamond rather than the glass, because now we can see the difference where we are. We see that as like a waste of time, just enjoying mundane things seem like a waste of time. Material enjoyment is indeed the cause of all unhappiness. One cannot give it up unless one has personally experienced how much suffering it is. Therefore, one should be allowed to remain in so-called material enjoyment while simultaneously advancing in knowledge to experience the misery of this false material happiness. Then, without help from others, one will find material enjoyment detestable. That's the thing. We should be adverse to this kind of enjoyment. And you know it's going to cause you misery as well. Whatever you're enjoying now will cause misery in the future. What tastes sweet now will be bitter in the future. That's in the mode of passion. And having this hunger for material enjoyment is in the mode of passion. So those whose minds are changed by others do not become as renounced as those who have personal experience. So according to Dakṣa philosophy, one should become implicated in material enjoyment so that after experience the distress of such enjoyment. So Daksh is saying that you cannot give it up unless you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, how can you give it up? That's his argument. So material nature, however, is so strong. So according to Daksh's philosophy, one should become implicated in material enjoyment so that after experience the bliss of such enjoyment, one will ultimately renounce. Material nature, however, is so strong that although man suffers at every step, he will not cease his attempt to enjoy. This is the real argument. That don't think that once you know that something's bad for you, you will give it up. Nobody gives it up. Even foods and drinks, they're bad for you, but you still you become addicted to them, right? Under the circumstances, unless one gets association of a devotee like Nārada Muni or his servant in the disciplic succession, one's dormant spirit of renunciation cannot be awakened. So somebody has to pull you out. When you are stuck in something, you can't pull yourself out. Somebody who's on the outside has to pull you out. It is not a fact that because material enjoyment involves so many painful conditions, one will ultimately become detached. One needs the blessings of a devotee like Nārada Muni. Then one can renounce his attachment for the material world. The young boys and girls of Krishna consciousness movement have given up the spirit of material enjoyment, not because of practice, but by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna Mahaprabhu and his servants. So it's the mercy of the Guru and Krishna that if you're able to give up something, we can't do it ourselves. We don't have control over the three modes. They're much too strong. Although I live in household life with my wife and children, I honestly follow the Vedic injunctions by engaging in fruitful activities to enjoy life without sinful reactions. I have performed all kinds of yajnas, including the Dev Yajna, Shri Yajna, Pitra Yajna, and Nar Yajna, because these yajnas are called vrats. I am known as Graha Vrat. So unfortunately, you have given me great displeasure by misguiding my son. So Prajāpati Dakṣa is saying that I am doing everything by the book, by the scriptures. So who are you to tell us otherwise? My sons could have done the same thing. So by misguiding my sons for no reason to the path of renunciation, this can be tolerated once with the 10,000 sons, but you did it again. Now you committed the same mistake twice. So Prajāpati Dakṣa wanted to prove that he had been most tolerant in not having said anything when Nārada Muni, for no reason, induced his 10,000 sons, innocent sons, to adopt the path of renunciation. For no reason. Sometimes householders are accused of being Grahamedis, who Grahamedis are satisfied with family life without spiritual advancement. Grihasthas, however, are different because although Grihasthas live in the household life with their wives and children, they are eager for spiritual advancement. So there's a difference. There's a Grihasthas and Grahamedis. Wanting to prove that he had been magnanimous to Nārada Muni. So he said, I forgave you first time. Prajāpati Dakṣa stressed when Nārada Muni misled his first sons, Dakṣa had taken no action. He had been kind and tolerant. He was aggrieved. However, because Nārada Muni had misled his sons for a second time, therefore he wanted to prove that Nārada Muni, although dressed like a sadhu, was not actually a sadhu. He himself, although a householder, was a greater sadhu than Nārada Muni. So, everybody has the opinion. He thinks he's right, and Nārada Muni knows that he is right. You have made me lose my sons once, and now you have again done the same auspicious thing. Therefore, you are a rascal who does not know how to behave towards others. You may travel all over the universe, but I curse you to have no residence anywhere. Now, he has just cursed him that you cannot remain in one place. You will keep traveling. You are traveling already. Now you will definitely keep traveling. Because Prajāpati Dakṣa was Grahamedi, he wanted to remain in the household life. He thought that if Nārada Muni could remain could not remain in one place, but had traveled all over the world or all over the universes, that would be a great punishment for him. Actually, however, such a punishment is a boon for a preacher. A preacher wants to travel. He wants some impetus to travel and give the holy name to everyone. A preacher is known as Paripikacharya, an acharya or teacher who always travels for the benefit of human society. So just like our Srila Prabhupada, he was Paripikacharya. Prajāpati Dakṣa cursed Nārada Muni by saying that although he had the facility to travel all over the universe, he would never be able to stay in one place. So in the parampara system from Nārada Muni, I have also been cursed. Srila Prabhupada says that he was also cursed by the parents of the young men that he delivered. That although I have many centers that would be suitable places of residence, he said I could remain anywhere. They all want him to come and stay there, but he couldn't stay. Since the Krishna consciousness movement was started, I have traveled all over the world 2 or 3 times a year. And although I am provided comfortable places to stay where I go, I cannot stay anywhere for more than 3 days a week. I don't mind this curse by the parents of my disciples, but now it is necessary that I stay in one place to finish another task. This translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. If my young disciples, especially those who have taken sannyas, take charge of traveling all over the world, it may be possible for me to transfer the curse of the parents to these young preachers. So this Prabhupada said that this curse is transferable. I'm going to transfer it to my young disciples so they can take over the duty. So it seems like Nārada Muni, a superhero, passed this curse to the parampara, down the parampara to Srila Prabhupada, and now Srila Prabhupada is going to pass on this curse to his disciples. So, this is a boon, right? Then I may sit down conveniently in one place for the work of translation. Now, coming back to Srila Shri Shukadev Goswami says that, my dear king, explaining to Maharaj Parikshit, since Nārada Muni is an approved saintly person, when cursed by Prajāpati Dakṣa, he replied, Tad Badam, yes, what you have said is good. I accept this curse. He could have cursed Prajāpati Dakṣa in return, but because he is a tolerant and merciful sadhu, he took no action. So the symptoms of sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Because Nārada Muni is the most elevated of sadhus. Devotees to deliver Prajāpati Dakṣa, he silently tolerated the curse. So just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught this principle to all his devotees. Trinada Piswanechna, Taro Pishashunana, Amanina Manandena, Kirtana Sada Hari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Following the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one who preaches the glories of the Lord all over the world or all over the universe should be humbler than grass and more tolerant than a tree, because a preacher cannot live an easygoing life. You have to accept some kind of stress and distress. Indeed, a preacher must face many impediments. Not only is he sometimes cursed, but sometimes he must also suffer personal injury. For example, when Nityananda Prabhu went to preach Krishna consciousness to the 2 roguish brothers, Jagai and Madai, they injured him and made his head bleed. But nevertheless, he tolerantly delivered the 2 rogues who became perfect Vaishnavas. This is the duty of a preacher. Even Lord Jesus Christ mentioned here, tolerated crucifixion. Therefore, the curse against Narad was not very astonishing. He tolerated it. So, Sri Shukadev Goswami said, my dear king, thereafter, at the request of Lord Brahma, Prajāpati Dakṣa, who is known as Prachetas, because 60 daughters in the womb of his wife Askini. All the daughters were very affectionate toward their father. Okay, we will leave it here. So there is more to this. So it's not that Daksh cannot fulfill his service, and because Nārada Muni has taken his son's way. There will be more to this later on. We'll continue next week with that. But it's mentioned right at the end, Prabhupada mentions that if you don't like to be distressed, you cannot take obstacles, impediments, then Krishna consciousness is not for you. Krishna consciousness means distress and stress and impediments, obstacles. There'll be problems. Your problems don't go away because you have come to Krishna consciousness. All it means that they are transferred from material problems now to spiritual problems, which means you overcome those problems, you'll be advancing in your spirituality. So problems are always there, but now Krishna is helping you. He's in your association. The Shastras are helping you how to overcome these problems. And every problem, every curse, Sri Prabhupada mentioned in Krishna consciousness, is actually a boon for you. So we should never be afraid of anything. Don't expect an easy life, just a quiet, easy life. That's not what Krishna consciousness is all about. So thank you so much for joining. Achita Prabhu, Anasuya Mataji, Hina Mataji, Shani Mataji, Madhav Shamsundar Prabhu, Ravin Mataji, Pundikaksh Prabhu, and Sarvashriya Mataji. Thank you so much. Would like to hear your views on this. We'll start with Sarvashriya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. The mentality of people now in this material world is just like the mentality of Daksha. They don't want their children to advance in spiritual life. They always like their children to be in household life, have children and grandchildren, and that's how they feel happiness. And that they think that is the real happiness. They forget about going back to Godhead. And Nārada Muni did not deserve to be cursed by Daksh. But Daksh was very, very angry. People, when they're angry, they don't know what they're doing. And they lose their intelligence. Like Nārada Muni himself, he cursed Lord Vishnu because in anger. So he was very angry and he thought that he was right and Nārada Muni was wrong. That's why he was very angry on Nārada Muni. But he didn't know that by rendering the devotional service to the Lord, one is free from detachment and suffering. People think this life is meant for enjoyment, but that enjoyment is cause of unhappiness and repeated back and back. We feel happiness for a bit. People think they're enjoying, they've got money, but they forget that they work very hard. Sometimes they work 18 Prabhupada says they work so hard, 18 or 17 hours, and they think they said that the money in that thing it is very happiness, but it's not. It is suffering. And of course, you mentioned that Daksha was worried about the 3 debts the sons have to pay for the demigod, father, and demigod, and great sons, demigods, and the father. But if you are Krishna conscious, you are free from all the debt. We've got in this body, we've got power to speak, we've got power to see, power to hear. We do all mental activities, but these are not important if not related to the Supreme Lord. So it's waste of time if it's all material. You are bound to this material world. Unless, you should it is important to relate this to the Supreme Lord. Your speaking, your seeing, everything, that means using devotional service. And the qualities of a pure devotee is always they think and meditate about Krishna, and without considering time or place. So like there were Daksha's son was a different place, but there's no time and no place for Krishna conscious. Like we chant that we are told that we can chant Hare Krishna anytime. There's no time, no place. We can do it anytime. But if you have to do any other thing, you have to have a proper place. But with the devotional service to Krishna, with the, so he just met them, the sons there. So that was the time, that was the place to teach them devotional service. So this is very nice of our Krishna conscious. I mean, this Maha Mantra given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we are freely, we can chant anywhere we like, and with the night, in the day, anytime we like. And so Nārada Muni thought that there was so much austerity, and it will be waste of time if you don't get advance. That's why he thought he might then go to best to Godhead, so that it won't be time and it won't be wasted, that effort. So we should do as well. I mean, we should follow this while with the given is the example given by the devotees and by Krishna, that we should follow, and then everybody discipline succession and told by our acharyas, and we are just following them. We are just holding, linking to them and following. So we should keep on sharing all this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. And I'm just thinking that Daksha, he said the scriptures say that as long as you pay your debts to the saints, to the God and the Father, because that was convenient for him, right? So we just read or hear what's convenient for us. That was convenient for him, because I was it says debt to the Father. So yeah, that works for me, because my sons will have children and they pay off the debts, and I will get my service, progeny will be there. So he's just thinking on that level. He's not looking at the Vedas, but he's not looking at the Vedanta. What's the final conclusion of the Vedas is to find the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's only thinking up to his level that is convenient for him, and he's only thinking that far, whereas Nārada Muni is thinking at the higher level. Thank you so much, Mataji. Pundikaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah, I mean, I like this point which you just said, Prabhuji, Vedanta. He got understanding of Vedas. So I shared a couple of points. One, we need to have 3 debts: what for saints, demigods, father, living entities, and other living entities as well. So I always used to have this doubt, like I stay here in UK and my father is in India. So how can I actually serve him as well then? My debt is still there, like if I consider it a debt. Then once I had an opportunity to talk to Yajavendra Prabhu, and Yajavendra Prabhu said to me that if you identify a person of same age or some people and you actually serve them, then Krishna will make sure he will take care of your father as well. So I felt like it is like watering the roots, and then Krishna will take care of the branches automatically. I felt like that, Prabhuji. And yeah, half knowledge is better than no knowledge. Sorry, half knowledge is dangerous than no knowledge. So like that, limited knowledge of Shastras will actually take us away from the right path, as you said, Vedanta rather than Vedas. So it's always confusion if we just read partly. Like yesterday, my father was asking me a question that if I be very righteous in my life fully, whether I will be saved by Krishna or I need to do bhakti only, then only he'll save me. He'll save me. So he was also quoting some verses from Bhagavad-Gita and Mahabharata as well, that being righteous is more important than worshipping Krishna, something like that. So I thought it's very dangerous, not having full understanding of scriptures. That's why we take the guidance of spiritual masters and the senior devotees. And Nārada Muni is, we know, before coming to Krishna consciousness, I know Nārada Muni only as a Kalha. I never knew that Nārada Muni is a spiritual master, and get to know about Nārada Muni in this lineage now. And I like one point, Prabhuji, one more, like can't give up until you know what it is. So this is very nice. So for that reason only we need to seek knowledge in like three ways, like direct perception and your scientific knowledge. But these won't help you analytical knowledge, but you need to rely on your scriptures, the sound knowledge, which is coming in a discipline succession. Yeah, that's all, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sai. Yeah, this is why we don't just rely on the Shastras. We have Guru and Sadhu as well to confirm. So we need all three to come, because we can misunderstand. Although the Shastras are the most important of the three, because if the Shastras are not there, then where is the Guru, where is the Sadhu? Shastras are the most important of the three, but yet all three are important, Guru and Sadhu as well, to confirm what the Shastras are saying, because ourselves we may misunderstand, misinterpret, or not fully understand, or only half understand, as you mentioned, and then that's very dangerous. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Ishani Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranams to all. Sorry, Prabhuji, I joined a bit late today, so I wasn't able to listen properly. But if you can send me the recordings, I'll definitely have a go.
Thank you.
And I'm not very clear, Prabhuji. Just in one sentence, if you can let me know. I missed it. What is the curse given by Daksha? If you can just let me know.
The curse given by Daksh to Nārada Muni is that you cannot remain in one place for more than 3 days. And so, that's the curse really, because he said that, if you can't stay in one place, then you can't go around advising people and, getting people to divert, basically. And
yeah, this is very true. Yeah. So actually, with this, I remember one story my father told me when I was young. Because we were traveling at many places and we were very fed up of traveling. And then my father told me that, once there was a sadhu, he went to a place, he went to a village and he was not offered anything. Then he blessed those person, Vasero. I mean, keep stable, stay at one place. Vasero is in Punjabi. So then he went to another place. The people were really serving him a lot and taking care of him, and they honored him. And then he told them, he blessed them, Khind jao. Khind jao means just scatter around. So they were very very shocked that how can he say us this, because we have a stable place, we have houses at this place, and he's saying us to scatter around. He's saying us to just go around everywhere, not to stay at one place. Then he said that if you will scatter around, you'll spread goodness and you'll spread this virtues of yours, and the people who were not serving him should stay at one place together. So that's the same thing. A sadhu is always, the more he travels, the more he spreads. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. This knowledge for sharing and the way to share and give association as well. Then they travel a lot, and it's quite demanding, but with Krishna's mercy, they have to do it and spread and inspire. Give association and inspire so many people. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam to everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. I was just reflecting on Daksha's point of view here. Very interesting when he's trying to, making me think about it. He's trying to justify why, and accuse Nārada Muni, the arguments such as which makes us trying to understand where Daksha is kind of karmi mentality a little bit more, and it was making me think about how materialists have got their priorities, karmis have got their priorities all wrong, you know, and how they think that enjoyment of this world is the purpose of this life, enjoying their senses and like devotion to God is almost secondary, essentially. Yeah, and I was thinking about how this whole material world has really been created so perfectly by Krishna. It's almost like a virtual reality, which really helps, which really keeps people under illusion, essentially, and how fortunate we are just to, you know, just have one drop of mercy. One is so fortunate that they're able to start to, you know, wake up, seek out Krishna, try to question their life and their purpose. And yeah, like the point that you also made about how stress is transferred from material problems to spiritual problems when you're on a spiritual path, and you know, and you have God on your side now. You've got the Lord on your side, and that everything, you know, every curse is a boon. And I think I was just thinking about how it helps us evolve. Almost, it does help us to evolve when you're on a spiritual path. Even, you know, Krishna's always helping us, even if something is on our path that looks negative or it's extremely challenging, and we question, you know, why have I got this, and why is this coming my way? But you know, what I'm personally trying to do now more is, you know, I can't see the big picture, but Krishna can. So I don't know what he's planning. So whatever comes into our life, you know, we need to just welcome that as a gift from him. You know, because we just don't understand, we just don't see the bigger picture and why he sent us, the challenges that he's sending us. So yeah, we should welcome everything he sends as a gift, good and bad. It's still a gift from him, it's still a blessing. So that's all. Thank you so much, Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, and this we're talking about Sadhu Shastra and Guru. So these things they're meant to harmonize everything, you know. They're there. These three are there to cause harmony. Whereas sometimes we think our point of view is right, our opinion is right, our interpretation is right. This is the thing. So Daksh thinks that he's right, so Nārada Muni must be wrong. Right? This is what we see, that if I am right, then automatically the other person is wrong. His opinion is wrong. But that's not always the case. It's about interpretations. My interpretation for me is right. It's not necessarily the right one, but for me it's right. And the other person similarly, his interpretation to him is right. So this is why this Sadhu Shastra and Guru, to harmonize those interpretations, not just our own personal interpretation, but to harmonize everything. So, you know, we get a clearer picture or see the wood from the trees, so to speak. So thank you so much. Read Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to everyone. Yes, like what you said, like that's how I see things now. Something's happening in our life. So we just have to see what Krishna trying to teach us. And it is to make us strong. So when we look at it like that, life becomes easy, and like it deepens our faith as well. And this morning, Anant Prabhu, he gave a class, a summary on chapter 4. And you know, he touched upon like demigods, they do provide us all our desires, they fulfill our desires. But then it is up to us how we use those things, all the material benefits. But whereas Krishna, he gives us what is best for us, he cleanses our heart, and he gives us the knowledge as well. And so like today from your reading, Daksha is only thinking of 3 debts, you know, his sons need to fulfill. But he's forgetting that surrendering to Krishna Mukunda, it frees us from all the debts. And engaging in devotional service, one is detached from this material world, one acquires knowledge, and that is the true happiness. And also Ananta Prabhu talked about 2 things, like there are 2 things. One is something is valuable and something that is enjoyable. So materialist people, they're just after enjoyable things, whatever it is, drinking, smoking, going to cinema. Whereas one in devotional service, we are engaging ourselves in valuable service, serving Krishna. And at the same time, it's enjoyable as well. So we are, if we look at it, we are on the right side and we are gaining more. We are gaining the valuable thing and the enjoyable thing. So yeah, and thank you for like picking, touching on Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, how important, Guru is to put us, we can misunderstand the Shastra, we don't read it properly and we haven't got all the knowledge. So it's very important. Association of devotees, mercy of devotees and Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you, Andaji. And this example of the Sri Prabhupada example of the separate, like before they used to have so many wells for different things, for drinking water, for washing, etc. Instead, you can have a river that will do all your jobs. If you're running river, we'll take care of your washing, we'll take care of your drinking water, whatever, whatever you need it for. And the Krishna is like the river. You don't need separate wells and separate debts. You can pay it all in one place. Radha, you want to add anything? Okay. That's great. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's do some, Achita Prabhu is listening and Mataji is listening. So maybe next time, let's do some nice rounds. Now, a couple of rounds, Surashri Mataji, then Parveen Mataji. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.